Have got Paul Wellens at fullback for the first time this year. Johnny Lomax was injured at the Magic weekend. Josh Jones was another casualty of the Manchester Magic. His 49-game run comes to an end, but it's a welcome chance for Gary Wheeler to return to Super League. He's got to be one of the most unlucky players with injury in the game. In the forwards, they'll miss Alex Walmsley, another injury victim. Mossy Massoy gets a rare start. Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook moves back into the front row after being loose forward last week. Sia Soliola starts, and so too does Mark Flanagan after missing the last two matches. Only Luke Thompson remains on the bench from last week. Anthony Walker started against Warrington. Greg Richards gets his first appearance since the Good Friday defeat here against Wigan. Now, Huddersfield look fairly settled if the shirt numbers are anything to go by, but Ben Blackmore plays. Jermaine McGilvery failed a fitness test this afternoon, and Jody Broughton, who got 2 tries last week against Bradford, is also injured. The battle between Danny Brough and Saints' Luke Walsh could be pivotal to tonight's outcome. Up front, Earl Crabtree starts at prop. Lon Patrick returns to the starting lineup, having been a substitute in Manchester last Sunday. And the bench today is occupied by Ukuma Tai, who started at the Magic, and Anthony Mullally is a young man in form, back from a loan spell at Bradford. He scored tries in each of the last 2 games. So the Huddersfield Giants, they lost in the Challenge Cup last month against St Helens in fairly controversial circumstances. Danny Brough's drop goal attempt missed. Luke Walsh, drop goal moments later, took the Saints through to the next round. And the Saints, when they beat Huddersfield in the Cup, they were on top of their game. Since then, they've been knocked out of the Cup themselves, and their Super League form has definitely dipped. Now, it's a big night for Paul Wellens, because not only is it his first fullback appearance of the year, his last start at fullback was way back on the 9th of June 2013 in a 30-18 win against the Bradford Bulls, and he's on the 8th fullback to start under Nathan Brown. Tommy Makinson is Super League's top try scorer. This should be a tremendous match, because Saints desperate to get back on the horse after last week, and Huddersfield right bang in form. Referee is Richard Silverwood. He's waiting to get this game underway. Blows the whistle. Luke Walsh will kick off. Here we go. And it's been raining pretty consistently throughout the course of the day here in St Helens. And the pitch is lush, to say the least. And, well, it'll be testing for the players as the match rolls on, because this grass is very, very lush indeed.
Yeah, it's an opener that St Helens want to start very, very strong indeed. A lot of people suggesting that their attitude has not been right over the past couple of weeks, especially in their defeat at Warrington at the Magic. And they do know, and Paul Anderson, the Huddersfield coach, fully aware that they've been a little bit slow to start this season, but they have the power in the forwards. Can the St Helens pack handle that?
Sean Lunt was the dummy half. The kicking game from Danny Brough will be crucial, but his first attempt is picked out of the air by Tommy Makinson. Good chase, though, by Lon Patrick, by Brett Ferris. There's the chairman, who's unhappy, if you take his programme notes tonight as anything to go by. But he says, rightly, they must not panic. They must not overreact. There's a long, long way to go yet, half the season. And they're third in the table, for goodness sake.
Yeah, I know, but it's the reaction that's a little bit different, Teddy, in regard to the fact that we're talking about the panic. It was panic. They were trying to force a pass. You know, the opening 20 minutes against Warrington, they had many breaks, could not get that final pass away. Just panic.
Here we are on the last tackle. That's why the kick from Walsh is long and downfield. It's a little bit too long, in all fairness. And Ben Blackmore gets his first touch. Paul Anderson, the coach of the Huddersfield Giants, a former St Helens favourite, of course, and a former favourite at the Bradford Bulls as well.
And he knows the importance, as Paul Anderson, of having that very strong set of forwards, especially this fella. He was going to start on the bench, but Anderson, rightly so, brought out the big Crabtree to just penetrate through that St Helens defence.
Brett Ferris was playing the ball there, and Paul Anderson saying last week it was tremendous to have him back. Of course, he finished a 5-match suspension last weekend for a spear tackle on St Helens' Johnny Lomax. That's nothing to do with his absence here tonight, Lomax. He was injured in the Magic weekend, and Brough holds his hand up. He knows that wasn't the best kick.
No, I needed a little bit more height, but you know, a lot of the coaches aren't really worried if he goes dead in goal. They know they can set up on that 30-metre line, and very difficult to get through. They're very, very strong, Huddersfield, in and around the play the ball area. Saints need to get it out wide, which they're doing now.
Yes, they attempted to do that, and there's a foot over the line, but it belongs to Gary Wheeler, and so Dawson was able to play the ball. That was Wilkin. Here is Wellens, who's seen plenty of it early. Good tackling by Ferris. 200th Super League appearance for Ferris tonight, with 4 clubs: Bradford, Wakefield, Castleford, and here at the Giants. Good offload. Roby picks up for the Saints. Tries to make ground forward, but Chan and Crabtree saw to it that wasn't going to happen. O'Hire, back it goes to Wilkin. Left-footed kick down the line from Wilkin, and well positioned by Scott Griggs, who runs the ball back, the Huddersfield full-back. He bounces off Wilkin, but he can't get away from the next two in, Wheeler and O'Hire.
A little bit nervous from both sides, especially in the kicking department. Not all that good.
I think they'll have prepared this week. Both teams set for a rainy day, although we don't have much rain at the minute. As you mentioned, Eddie, before kick-off, a deluge of water, and pretty much throughout the week it's been wet, and I reckon that both coaches will have worked hard on the kicking game, hard on the chase, and trying to exert some pressure on the opposition.
This is Joe Wardle, the 22-year-old Scottish international. He's only missed one match this year. He plays the ball, and it's Brough again, this time a low scudder that will be picked up on his own line by Matty Dawson. Right, I think Rod's got the seaweed out, and he can tell us what the conditions are like at ground level.
Absolutely, Eddie. Yeah, just as Barry was saying that we're not having too much rain, it started to open the heavens, and you could charge a lot for that kind of service instead of farming areas. It started to drizzle quite heavily actually now. It's coming down more than steadily. The pitch though is pretty good out there, Eddie. It's holding up quite nicely, cutting up in patches, but given the rain that you mentioned earlier, those deluges mid-afternoon, doesn't look too bad out there.
No, and the academy match before this game was a real cracker, and it was won by St Helens Juniors by 14 points to 12. That's a good ball from Walsh. He's put John Wilkin through the gap, and he has got some support with him here with Wheeler. And can Gary Wheeler crown his return? No, he can't. Scott Griggs and also Ben Blackmore saw to that. But Saints aren't done yet. Here is Walsh on the ball again, changing the direction. Soliola into centre field. Wheeler, and I think he's got over the line here. Wheeler gets the try for Saints.
Tremendous pass that set it all up. The chairman, Emma McNanna's very, very happy with that. But the Walsh pass that sent through the big second rower, John Wilkin, was out of the top drawer. Had the opportunity, look at that. Luke Robinson really should have shifted in, and they left a huge gap, and this is a great finish. They should have finished it. They had the numbers there.
I think there was the line of Walsh. He dragged in Kopchak, created the space, and this is a magnificent finish above his head. Roby to Wilkin. Coolness, calmness, composure. Ball back on the inside. Great start for the Saints.
Do you know, there isn't a massive difference between this week and last. They made the breaks. There's a pass here eventually that they get the ball free. They're obviously making the breaks as they did last week, but the composure to control the ball firstly with Wheeler and then execute that final play and score was the slight difference, which obviously will put 6 points on the board for this one.
Well, Walsh is to take the conversion attempt of Wheeler's try. And Luke Walsh, this will be his 50th successful kick of the campaign. Rumours abound that Luke is a little homesick at the moment, and he might be finishing his stint at St Helens 12 months early. He's on a 2-year deal, but the rumours are that he might be heading home. We'll see. Gary Wheeler, though, everyone will be delighted. The most unlucky player with injury.
Yeah, and it's a great finish, but Paul Anderson, the Huddersfield coach, knows that it should have been stopped. They tried their damnedest, and that will please the chairman, and rightly so.
Yes, he leads the applause. There is Gary Wheeler. 7th season here and only 56 appearances. That's been the tail of the tape, as far as Gary's concerned.
Hasn't had much luck, has he? Paul Anderson will get the message out. You know, we said that the other sides, they know and try to put a pressure on Luke Walsh, but that position, Lan Patrick has been given that task. The trouble is, if you go for Walsh, you've got to make sure you've got someone else coming with you. And that was the reason why Wilkin went through an enormous gap.
See, Soliola just poked his nose through that tackle, was looking to offload, couldn't do, but that was a quick play the ball. Roby then finds Wellens. Wellens wants to get on with it quickly and does. Roby again, here's Soliola. Soliola to Wilkin, now Wheeler, the try scorer.
Well, it's a lot quicker hands, isn't it, that we've seen from St. Helens.
And the crowd starting to sing when the Saints go marching in. They're 6 points ahead, and we've had 7, nearly 8 minutes. High kick here, this is a tester for Griggs. He claims it. He claimed it well.
That was a good set of 6 if you're a Saints player. The speed of the ruck, the skill on shore. Good signs early on for Saints. They look in the mood tonight, Saints. Embarrassed last weekend, and the honesty of Paul Wellens looked like it has made an effect to the dressing room and definitely to the start of this game.
Yes, they've started very positively. There's no doubt about it. 4 defeats in the last 6 League and Cup matches, though. Just has dropped the mood here slightly, but underestimate Huddersfield at your peril. Walsh didn't manage to get hold of Wardle. He rolled out of the challenge, but in the end it was finished off by Jordan Turner. And from inside the 40, Brough gets the kick away, but it's a bit high, and it's easy for Wellens, who positioned himself on that right-hand side.
Well, again, we've seen Danny Brough go for the option of the high kick. It was easy to take by the full back. Surprisingly, in wet conditions, that he has not kept it low and just dinked it right into the corner.
This is Matty Dawson again, centre field for Saints. He plays the ball to Roby. McCarthy Scarsbrook wearing 10, playing 10 tonight, playing in the front row alongside Mossy Massoy and James Roby, who is on the ball now, makes a break. Beautiful break from Roby. Nobody with him. Yes, there is. Lance O'Hire. He rolled the tackle well from Griggs and just popped the ball up for Lance O'Hire. And Lance O'Hire touches down, and St. Helens off to the desired start by everybody here at Langtree Park. They lead 10-0. Kick to come. Lance O'Hire has just recorded his 5th try of the Super League campaign.
One of the best hookers in Super League is this man, James Roby. That was very, very poor defence. No one hardly got a fingertip to him. Stopped by Scott Griggs, but the support, which certainly wasn't on display last weekend at the Magic. Look how he just keeps his calm. Yeah, there's going to be somebody there, and it's Lance O'Hire. Well, I said that Saints had to get off to a flying start, and boy, they have done just that. Tremendous support by this fella, number 6, Lance O'Hire.
You can trace a lot of tries back to the play before the try was scored itself, and if you look at what St. Helens have done, I think some of the big men in the middle of the field have run harder, got up and played the ball quicker, and that's obviously going to make James Roby look more dangerous when he gets a fast play of the ball. The markers aren't set, and the defence is even in reverse. A great play. He still played well this season, even when his side haven't, and he's had some good support there now for the 2nd try.
Yes, the pace that Saints are playing at the moment is overwhelming the Huddersfield Giants. This is Luke Walsh with his 2nd conversion. He doesn't make a mistake, and St. Helens have raced into a 12-0 lead.
Well, one of the best compliments I can give James Roby, and he's had this throughout his career, is if you don't look too closely at this, you think it could be Kieran Cunningham, 1996, 97, the speed, the ruthlessness he's got. As soon as he gets that quick play, the ball, he's up and he's out, and he has the pace just to create those chances, and Lance O'Hire is the beneficiary on that time.
Well, the Huddersfield Giants, who won here 40 points to 4 last February 2013. It wasn't the best start to life at St. Helens for Nathan Brown. The Giants also won at home in June last year. They finished top of the table for the first time in 81 years. But in the opening 11 minutes here, they've hardly had their hands on the ball. It's been all St. Helens.
Yeah, we said before this game started that it's been a problem for the Giants this year, in as much that
40-20 here for Walsh.
They're very, very slow to start. It won't make it. It's bending the other way. But look at the chase. There's problems, and Murphy is absolutely blocked to the ground.
Well, there's your low kick, Steve. As this rain gets heavier, as the pitch gets more greasy, You're right, they'll be low, they'll be hard, and they'll be very difficult to deal with. Great defence from Saints.
And that's why Paul Anderson has got to get the message out to his kicker, Danny Brough, that not go high. Remember, right down the throat of Paul Wellens, set them on the move, got 25 metres forward. Rover did the rest.
Well, I don't know what medicine Nathan Brown has been giving his troops this week, but whatever it is, in the opening 12 minutes, it's working wonders.
Well, it was a tongue lashing, wasn't it?
It's personal pride, Steve-O, as well. They were hurt, just like the fans, just like the spectators. The Saints players knew that weren't good enough last week.
Well, again, we see the high shot. Now, normally, you'd think that they come on the short blind side, push it right down into the corner and try to force the error. They're not on song, I'm afraid, the Giants.
Wilkin gets the pass away. There's more opportunities here, but that's an important tackle there by young Blackmore on another youngster in the St Helens side, Matt Dawson. And Massoy is a difficult man to pull down.
Yeah, he's putting himself about as well. Has been slow starting this season.
Lovely step, beautiful step, wonderful pass. Try for Paul Wellens.
Well, it looked for all the world that Richard Hilderwood was going to put a forward pass, but he was in an absolute sensational position.
That's a 10th try in home games against Huddersfield for Paul Wellens. He's third on the all-time Super League try-scoring charts. That's number 189 for Wellens. And he had a lot to say after the match last week when he came on as a substitute. And between him and Brown, well, the tongue lashing has worked a miracle.
Referee positioning, Silverwood, quite outstanding. And the inside pass, beautiful.
Well, Paul Wellens has backed up his words with some great actions here, been on the inside, knowing when Luke Walsh would get his arms free and be in the right place at the right time. Huddersfield have no answer. Physically, they can't cope with the pace with which St Helens are playing the game at present. And it's 18 points to nil in what? Inside 15 minutes.
Yeah, blistering start from the Saints. And Wellens, he's won just about everything in the game, but he said if they don't get their heads screwed on properly, this is his comments after last week, I'm paraphrasing. He said if they don't get their heads screwed on properly, they'll be sitting at home on their lounge couches watching the grand final on October the 11th instead of playing in it. And that's the ambition now for St Helens this year. Walsh adds the extras, 18-0 it is.
Well, it's amazing, isn't it? Last week against Warrington, it was exactly the same scoreline. St Helens not playing well, Warrington certainly taking advantage, and Paul Anderson realises he's got to get one message out there. Hey lads, you've got to tackle on the legs. They're the things that keep you moving, and the opposition.
Well, they need to be able to stop players like Mossy Massoy here, don't they? They've got enough time to get back and win this game, but have they got the physical capacity to cope with the big forwards here running forward? Oh, this is a kick that's going to get... Is that a knock-on in goal? Yes, it is. Now that's a chance, isn't it? It's 15 minutes into the match, and Huddersfield are going to get their first chance to attack.
Yeah, it's been a long time since they had any field position. And it just bounced awkward, didn't it, for Dawson?
Well, Lance Sahaya wasn't interested, and Dawson did his best. The elbow came up, it was a knock-on, goal line dropout then, so maybe a slight shift in the balance of power here after the opening quarter of an hour and the salvo that St Helens have thrown at this Huddersfield team.
Well, at least for the first time in the game that we'll see whether Huddersfield has got any prowess in attack. But it's their defence, I'm afraid, that's all at sea.
This is Blackmore, no Broughton, who got 2 tries last week at Magic, he's injured. And no Jermaine McGilvray either, though McGilvray was named in the team yesterday and failed a fitness test late this afternoon.
And look how St Helens are getting out of the blocks very quickly indeed. That's solid defence.
Ferristow plays the ball. That was Lunt, this is Brough. He dabs it over the top, but Wellens was there and that was easy for him.
He's been around too long, hasn't he, Paul Wellens?
Oh, he's injured though there, he got a clatter.
Yeah, got a bit of a knock, but his positional play throughout his entire career has been outstanding. Always had that ability, hasn't he, when they get the ball, that he could beat the first man, and invariably he did.
It looks like he's in slow motion sometimes, Paul Wellington. That's not an insult. He hustles and hurries to the place where he needs to be. So it looks like he's got all the time in the world to make those crucial decisions at the back.
Good set of 6 defensively for Huddersfield here. This is the last, and Walsh has to kick from his own 20-metre line straight into the arms of Scott Griggs, who pops it up for Aaron Murphy to have a run at them.
Well, that surprised me. I thought that Luke Walsh had got it all controlled. He was kicking low. Before that, it takes a leaf out of the Giants' book, puts it right down the throat of the full-back.
Joe Wardle now. And here comes Brett Ferris. Good offload from Ferris to Sean Lunt. On his knees, Crabtree picked that up. Thought he had the strength also, by the way, to wrestle himself out of the clutches. And I think it was Soliola, yes it was. And that takes some doing, let me tell you. Loose pass. Finds its way to Griggs, and it was touched by St Helens. Referee wipes the tackle count down. So Griggs plays it, and here's Lunt again. And Jason Chan will take it forward. Nathan Brown, Kieran Cunningham watching on, must be delighted with the opening 17 minutes, but know that they've got a challenge on here now as Huddersfield threaten the line for the first time. Lunt goes left and finds Brough. And Brough goes short and gives it to Ferris. And Ferris gets the ball away to Griggs.
Griggs just came a little bit too late there. Ferris was wanting for it sharper.
First assault on the Saints line from the Giants. Good ball. Lon Patrick will score for Huddersfield. Well, that tells you something, that they've got some fighting spirit out there, the Giants. And that really is, I mean, memory fades, I know, but I'm sure it's not failing me on this occasion. That's the first time Huddersfield have threatened this St Helens line.
Yeah, and it was a good run, wasn't it? Utilised the dummy runner to perfection. And the dummy runner, remember, we've had problems with the offside and the obstruction. And this is well finished. He caught one right across the mush as well. Look at this, look at the big fella, Earl Crabtree. Get out of there. And power and strength got them there. And boy, did they need this, but this was a set pattern. You can see they used Craig Kopchak as a dummy runner. He put the ball right across the front of the prop forward, Kopchak, and Patrick did the rest.
Well, the man of steel, Danny Brough, reigning man of steel, adds the extras, left-footed, no problems from bang in front, 18-6. And Huddersfield look as though they do mean to make a game of it. Lon Patrick with the try. It's only his 7th appearance of 2014, this.
Well, there isn't many players as good at making that decision in the game, and there's 2 attackers either side of a defender, isolating him, making him make an impossible decision. And Lon Patrick, who's used to great effect coming off the bench, getting a rare start and getting his team back in the game.
Stopping offloads and then it's complete.
It was a very strong start from St Helens. We expected it, didn't we, after what had happened last week? But really, we've seen a great response as well, haven't we, now, by the Huddersfield Giants. When you consider that both teams have had a similar amount of possession, they've done really well. 4 breaks made by St Helens. You know, very rarely will a side convert 4 into 3 tries, but St Helens did that. Mike was critical before the game about last week when they made chances, brought their opponent's line, but didn't score the points. That hasn't been the case. That's the reason why they're 12 points ahead right now.
Yes, it's a complete reversal of last weekend. Saints were 18-0 down in the first 20 minutes against Warrington. This will help Huddersfield, this penalty. They then went 36-6 down early in the second half. They did respond last week, did Saints, but not to the degree they wanted. And this is the first penalty we've just seen of the match.
And it was silly play by the standoff, Lance O'Hire.
But what about the footwork? He's got magic feet, Fayumu, and all the best trying to tackle him. You see the pressure from Saints defensively coming on now. And one of the interesting aspects of the game, once we get into it, there's 20 minutes gone now. The benches of both teams have worked out the Saints side. The average, or the oldest player is 22 and the youngest is 18. So you definitely on the side of the Saints side. Will that convert into enthusiasm and energy? We'll see.
Good enthusiasm, good energy there from Jason Chan. Here is Luke Robinson. Robinson goes short. Good offload to Danny Brough. And Brough gets the pass out wide. Good tackle, though. Great tackle by Makinson on Wardle. Here's Griggs. They're going down that left-hand side with Brett Ferris. And Ferris is shrugged off the attention of 2. And he's still going, Ferris. He gets to within half a metre of the line. Makinson's underneath him. Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook was on top. Here is Brough now, slides the kick in. And
What a
Saints
take.
have it. That was brilliant take, wasn't it? It really was by John Wilkin.
Unbelievable by the second rower. That was going at some pace. Got the right arm around it. But that's a lot better.
He'd get a game for England cricket team. John Wilkin just ducked down and pounced that ball, snuffing out the danger.
Yeah, John Wilkin. He missed the cup win at Huddersfield, but he played in the last 7. And Roby to Walsh, who a looping pass.
Ooh, that was a huge gamble.
It was. Jordan Turner, though, with the strength, but Brough pushes him over the whitewash on the far side. It was pushed off first, was Danny, but, well, Jordan Turner just couldn't shrug him off, and he kept coming and coming, and in the end, look, just pushed him over the whitewash. That's all it takes, just a foot or an ankle on the line. Hen feed at this scrum to the Huddersfield Giants.
Well, after a shaky start, the Giants have just settled down, got themselves organised. Such a talent, isn't he? Danny Brough he's electric at times. I always get the feeling when he's in top form, the Giants certainly play exceptionally well, but that's great defence.
As it is, Chan is brought down by 3. John Wilkin made the initial challenge. And here is David Fayumu. Robinson, who saw a little gap then. Almost got past Roby. He wasn't getting past Wilkie. Lunt again. Brough, the architect.
Oh, they got a little bit confused in attack there, did the Giants. Brough was looking for someone coming late. They all went early. That looked a touch forward. Got away with it.
And Ferris hangs on. They loaded that left-hand side, did the Huddersfield Giants.
Got to be a rubber kick into the in-goal area, Eddie.
Jordan Turner was trapped then. Crossfield kick from Danny Brough. Over the head. Flick on an interception. Here goes Dawson. Magic Dawson's got Cudjoe after him. This is going to be a good chase. And it is by Leroy Cudjoe. That's a try-saver. Quick play the ball, that's what they want. And Roby escapes Cudjoe this time on a diagonal run.
Great work from the hooker as well, Roby. Realising that a lot of his players weren't in position. Now they are.
Huddersfield's defence is back. But have they got the numbers here? Dawson! No, they haven't. Matt Dawson with the try. He just skipped inside the would-be challenge of Scott Griggs. He started it with the interception on his own 10-metre line. And about 3 or 4 tackles later, he's over for his 4th try of the season.
Well, Danny Brough took the wrong option. In wet conditions, you put it on the floor. It can skid, it can go all over, he can get a knock on. But didn't he do well to get back? Unbelievable run from Dawson. But yet he puts himself in the right position. Nice step as well. He'll enjoy that. Super stuff. How many times have we seen Paul Wellens link into the 3-quarter line from fullback?
Well, this is a composure that was definitely missing last weekend. I think Leroy Cudjoe, when he watches that again, he should have shown more composure. He was at marker, isolated on his own. No need to commit himself to James Roby, who always is a danger. And I'm not pointing that try at one individual, but it could have given Huddersfield Giants vital seconds to get defenders back and put some faces in front of St Helens.
Well, he came up, didn't he, with the original try-saving tackle. And they did get the numbers back eventually, Huddersfield, but they had no answer in the end. And Matt Dawson's try, it's 22 points to 6. Now he's kicked 3 from 3 already, Luke Walsh, but this is the most difficult by a mile, because he's tight to the touchline on this left-hand side. There he is. And can he add the extras here? Luke Walsh. Averaging 10 points a game so far for the Saints is the Australian scrum half, who everyone believed at the start of season was the last piece in Nathan Brown's jigsaw. He's pushed that the wrong side of the posts. At 22 points to 6, it's a handy lead.
It's hard to tell, isn't it, at this stage, whether St Helens have been great for 20 minutes or Huddersfield a little below what we'd expect from them. It's a fantastic finish there, isn't it? Paul Wellens does well to create that chance, to the delight of the St Helens coaches, Kieran Cunningham, Nathan Brown. But I'm just expecting and hoping to see a bit more from Huddersfield. That was, like you say, at this stage in the match, the kick was so risky. They almost didn't need to take it, and it's cost them 4 points, which might be hard to get back in these conditions.
Yeah, it certainly would, and you know, it's so slippery out there that it really should have been just a little kick into the in-goal area, try to get a second set. Say you take the gamble, and when you kick like that, you could see that there was no full back in position, and it was fully deserved and well finished by Matt Dawson.
Wilkin stands, gets the pass away to the substitute Luke Thompson, only 19 years of age. We've seen some young talent, haven't we, on Sky Sports over the past couple of nights in the Super League. But here is, well, you call him a veteran, James Roby. Wonderful run, and he's still going.
Incredible player. Has been for many times. Will they put this bomb up, or will they put it into the corner? They're doing the right thing.
I think they've got the right attitude to this game, Saints. They're just willing to just chip away at the game. It's a left-footed kick that just puts all kinds of pressure on Huddersfield Giants. Challenges them to come out of that corner. And you're right to highlight Luke Thompson. I'm a big admirer of him, just as he gives a penalty away. But I think his engine, his work rate, his competitive edge will mean that he's got a huge future in the game.
Well, look at the Saints bench here tonight. There's Thompson 19, Richards 18, Walker 22 and Greenwood 21. Just looking quickly down the list, Wellens is the oldest man in the Saints side. He's 34. Lance O'Hire's over 30 as well. He's 31. Other than that, not too much age in this St Helens team. Catalan Bradford tomorrow, 1:55. Sky Sports 3 will be in Perpignan, and you'll be able to see all the tries from this weekend's round of the First Utility Super League in full time, Monday, 7 o'clock.
But it's going to be a heavy job now for the Giants to get into any good field position. And, you know, I'm sure that Nathan Brown would have said to all these youngsters that is on show tonight that, you know, take a look at what happened with those youngsters from Wigan last night. If they can produce it, so can you.
It's a great take. That was a huge bomb from Danny Brough, and Matt Dawson took it really confidently underneath his own posts. Now then, it's Huddersfield's turn to apply the pressure on Makinson.
And they've got to up the tempo as well. Keep them down there. Good position, though, by this fella, Matt Dawson. Been impressed.
Big collision for Makinson. Oh,
that's a great defensive effort. The kick was excellent. They trapped St Helens close to their own try line here. They know they've got 50 minutes plus here to score 3 converted tries. That's long enough if they're prepared to work as hard as this with the defence. In conditions like this, the ball will come free. The referee says he's lost it as he's trying to get back up to his feet. Is that interfered with?
Well, the tackle's being called, held. He's got to release it. So, you know, really that should have gone Saints' way. Just left his hand in there too long.
And he pulled the arm rather than the ball. Fooled everybody. Here we are with St Helens in defence then, defending this run from Cudjoe. Robinson.
Still plenty of minutes left in this first half for the Giants to hit back.
That's Jason Chan, 10 metres out. He'll play it here to Sean Lunt, who'll find Robinson in space. And the short ball from Robinson.
Great tackle there, wasn't it, by the big fella, Thompson.
Lunt again. Comes to Robinson. Here is Jason Chan. And Saints bring him down. That's 4 tackles gone, but they're 3 metres from the line. Lunt indicating he wants the players to all come up a bit. Brough gets the ball away to Ferris. And Ferris, well, that was knocked back by the foot, so it's play on. Got away with that, did Ferris. This is a good run. That's a very good run. And there's a chance here for Cudjoe.
Oh, why did he stop? Really should have gone for the corner.
Chan has stopped, he doesn't know what to do. That was knocked out. Well, that looked like it was knocked out and knocked forward by the St Helens defender. Was it Lance O'Hire?
Oh, they did well, Saints, then. They kept the defensive line intact. Nobody jumped out. Nobody putting the players at the side of them under pressure. You see, Lance Hyatt slaps that ball out, Stuart.
That should have been a knock-on.
Yeah, he's played at the ball. He went at the ball. That should have been Huddersfield ball again.
Oh, now then, Flanagan, well, he was caught. The referee says it's high.
Yeah, it is high. He said
And Wardle says I got him on the shoulder.
well, his shoulder's pretty somewhere round about his ears. If that's the case, this is the one that should have been a knock-on. Should have been the man was in front. It could have been an offside, but at the worst, it should have been head and feet. And he realises it too, does Paul Anderson.
Are they new glasses for the big fella, then? He's a bit too young to be wearing spectacles.
Well, you can put the question afterwards if you wish.
I'll ask him.
Barry. Andy Kelly sat in front of him, of course, as well in Huddersfield garb tonight.
Well, talking of glasses, I think Paul Anderson was looking as if to say, I'd like to give them to a man called Richard Silverwood, because he got it wrong.
Binoculars, not glasses.
9 minutes to half-time. Saints in control, 22-6. Another big hit on Mark Flanagan. He's missed the last two, Flanagan. He injured his knee against Hull KR last April, and he's been in and out of the side since. This is Richards. Richards plays it to Roby. Roby then finds Walsh. Walsh gives it to Wellens. Chimes into the line at every opportunity, does Paul Wellens. Gets Saints to within 10. 2 tackles left. Roby. And here is Walsh. Now it's with O'Hire. And O'Hire will scoop through. Did he lose it though? Has he lost this? And there's also a question about obstruction in the back play. We're rolling the clock back 24 hours.
Not a surprise.
Stuart Cummings.
Well, it's 30 minutes. Thought I was getting a break tonight, but we've got our first one up on the board. Looking at obstruction as the ball's coming across. Got some runners going through. The first one, the pass is fine. It's on the outside. Then Helens' player leaves himself in the defensive line. Does that affect the defender coming across? Well, I think Lance O'Hire has come back through that gap that's created by the St Helens player being left in the line.
But what about Ferris? He looks as though he's obstructed.
That's the one I'm looking at.
Could he have been in the position to tackle?
That's what Stewart's exactly said.
And I reckon that could be no try then.
And the decision is no try, penalty for the obstruction.
Stays at 22-6. Lance O'Hire thought he was in for another.
I don't have a problem with this. I think it's a definite obstruction. Ferris would make that tackle were it not for Anthony Walker, who's directly in front of him. Did he drop the ball? No, he gets the ball down, but that was irrelevant. I think where people are getting frustrated is when it's 2 and 3 defenders away from the ball and the person that misses the tackle.
Well, I reckon that Brett Ferris deliberately went for the man to make sure that he could convince the
It's
video
very cynical
referee.
to think like that, it is, and it sometimes does appear that way, but I don't know. It's a mess at the minute, Steve, and without being too controversial, I think it's spoiling the game at the minute.
I agree.
Well, I would say something else. Why doesn't Andrew Walker get through the line and then there's not a problem? If he moves another 2 metres forward, then that try will be scored.
The agenda, I think, is being set for back chat on Tuesday at 10 o'clock on Sky Sports 2. No doubt Rod and Steve-O will have plenty to say with their guests.
Well, good teams, you know, strike back. When one tries disallowed at one end, they then score at the other. Have the Giants got it in them here now? Robinson, kick to the corner.
It's high. He was looking for the young winger Blackmore, but he never got off the ground, did he?
I think it's a bit frightened that he could have been penalised for touching the man in the air.
Could have been done for obstruction.
I'm amazed, Barry, that you have the temerity to suggest that Mr. Michael Stevenson is a cynic. But there is the man who's preparing his notes for back chat. Steve-O's mate.
He looks happy, doesn't he? He always looks happy, Rod. There you go. See his face crack?
Well, he's drenched, actually. He looks like a drowned rat.
He's the only man I know that could have an argument with himself in a telephone box.
Walsh's kick over the top.
It's a good one. It's a good one as well. It's a teaser. Chase is good as well.
I think it's just the two different tactics of both teams. Saints have said, we'll put it low and we'll put it hard and we'll put it into the corners of the snooker table. And Huddersfield are just trying to put it high. Great break from the Giants.
Yes, it is. It's that young man, Ben Blackmore. Up the middle he goes. Being interfered with a bit there. Here's Kyle Ward. Wood then to Brough. Brough to go wide to Ferris. Ferris just slipped as he approached Jordan Turner. This is Scott Griggs, the dummy half. Infield it comes to Danny Brough. He has a look. And he was there, was Anthony Mullally. Mullally wants to get on with it and plays it. Robinson comes back inside. Down he goes. Here comes the last tackle then for the Giants.
It's got to be a dribble into the in-goal area.
Wood is there. Brough up and over the top. Easy. Easy for Jordan Turner.
Well, the option from this man has not been good tonight, Danny Brough.
Do you think he got the ball a little less than he'd hoped? It didn't seem to come clean, did it, from Kyle Wood behind there?
There was a stutter, wasn't there, by Wood?
That early service, you know what, he so often goes unnoticed, doesn't it? But a good, quick pass, invitingly in front of the man who wants the ball, can make such a huge difference to the end result.
Well, this fella, Mossy Masoi.
Great work, that, Steve. Yeah. I agree with Phil. I think that the big charging runs, just 3-4 players having to deal with a human being as big as that. Just create spaces. Defenders are missing out of the defensive line.
And to be fair, it's taken him quite some time as Mossy Masoi to get right into the swing of things. Remember, he had a tremendous World Cup.
He picked up an injury as well, Steve, and that really hampered the start to his Saints career.
But he looks to be in good form tonight.
Well, the penalty only just found its way off the hands of Aaron Murphy into touch on that far side. Hence the reason why we have the scrum. He made a valiant effort to get to this.
Yeah, it wasn't far off, it was it?
He got to it, he just couldn't palm the ball back. It was just a little bit too high.
Will Saints do a set pattern move here? Good jump, just couldn't get to it.
Saints with the possession from the scrum. Roby goes right to Walsh. Walsh then flat pass. And Mark Flanagan picks himself up. Walsh, back it comes to O'Hire. O'Hire to Wilkin, he bounced off Cudjoe. And then gave it to Roby, and it somehow got to him.
Surely.
I think he missed it. I think he missed it.
He touched it.
Well, Richard Silverwood's closer than all of us, and he said he didn't. This is Anthony Walker. Roby again, 10 metres out. Stabs the kick into the in-goal area, all along the deck. Well watched by young Blackmore.
But see the difference between the two sides when it comes to the kicking game. Saints get anywhere near. Do they put it in the air? No, so someone can catch it.
No, Roby did not touch it. Richard Silverwood was spot on.
I will get my eyes fixed tomorrow.
Do you have to pay for eye test?
At my age.
You know, the Giants almost need an eye test, don't they? They're that far. Every time they're starting the sets, they're so far from St Helens try line. He's tried something a little different to chip over the top. Oh, but it's not bounced for him on a surface today. Now the referee says a knock-on from Huddersfield. And we've got a massive 2 minutes here. St Helens have got, I think they've got the sense here. They need to, he's tried to chip over the top. He knows they're not getting the field position to strike close to the line, and just about came off his hand, I think.
Well, was it his knee?
It looked like his knee, and as far as Danny Brough is concerned...
Well, that's a worry if you're a Huddersfield Giants fan. I don't think he's touched it either, but if you see Danny Brough with his forehead... Well, there you go.
Goes backwards, though. Doesn't it come backwards?
No, Phil, that's a knock-on. That's a knock-on.
Goes backwards. Look at the ball.
That's a knock-on.
Cancel my appointment with the optician. I'll take apologies from you, Eduardo.
Yeah, we'll cancel that appointment. We'll leave you with the other one.
Is that a knock-on?
Well, it is. I think Richard Silverwood has deemed it to be.
I'm just going to finish my point, Eddie, about Danny Brough, if I can. I think the mood of Danny Brough has a big bearing and a big influence. That's definitely ripped out. Jason Chan all over that ball.
I think he let it go.
I think he's out of the tackle, Chan's out of the tackle before that ball is lost.
I agree. A minute and a quarter to the half-time break. Paul Anderson will be, I would think, desperate to get to his players.
Yeah, and so the St. Helens defence, they're desperate to get to the players as well. It's been a fine defensive effort from them. That really should have been a penalty. It was a right mess at the play the ball area there.
And I don't know if everyone there was onside either, but... Oh, it's a steal by Wilkin, but was it a knock-on? He pulled it forward, says the referee, and he did. He was facing his own line, and he pulled it this way, so that is a knock-on. Spot on.
Well, Saints thought that they were going to get the head and feet. Wilkins confused. Paul Anderson is raring to have a few words. Maybe I'm a little bit wrong in that department. I think there might be many words, not few.
Well, the kick from the scrum here.
That's a knock-on.
In the days when Nathan Brown was the coach, they used to do that, didn't they, Kays? They pick it up here now. Well, there's already somebody set off. He has done.
Robinson to the corner, inviting the chase, but it's too long. The kicking from Huddersfield hasn't been up to scratch.
Well, I can't believe, why do they have to pass it from the scrum base first before the kick? Why don't they kick right from the loose forward position if you've got a fast winger? Because no one had dropped back then. By the time you pass the ball, it gives them that split second to get someone back into position, which they did. It's been disappointing.
Neither side was interested in getting that scrum formed because there was only about 15 seconds remaining of the half. So that's a fairly good job done by St. Helens. Huddersfield threatened to come back in 18 minutes. They were 18-0 down at that stage after Wheeler, O'Hire and Wellens had scored tries, all improved by Luke Walsh. Then Lon Patrick scored, Danny Brough added the goal, 18-6, but Dawson's try, 22-6. But that was in the 24th minute. At least the Giants have stopped the bleeding.